Well, all right, all right, all right. It's time for Living in Christ Radio Ministries with Pastors Rashid by Ethan Anthony Burrell, and I'm the man behind the microphone, Big Man Kelly. Pastor Rashid, how we doing?
We're blessed. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Don't I look good? I feel good.
You do, brother.
I'm
yeah,
looking
you
good.
do.
Good. You know,
Yes.
I heard an interesting term today.
What was that?
People are celebrating not President's Day.
That is certainly understandable.
Not President's Day, man.
I'm telling you, boy.
I got to tell you something. You know what's been really interesting?
What's that?
That I've actually been running into people who voted for the president and regretted it.
You talking about colored people?
No.
Oh, you're talking about people who look like him.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I bet they are. They ain't regretting yet. Just wait a little while longer.
Oh, it's coming. It's getting worse and worse every day. But the latest thing was the people that were in charge of our nuclear inspections, nuclear arms.
Yeah, he fired 100 of them, and now they're trying to hire him back. Again, it's the example of them not knowing what they're doing, just into this philosophy of payback and destruction and confusion, and that's what they're doing, brother. I mean, do you decide to look at these agencies? You don't even investigate their history or are aware of what their importance is in your government. You usually say, "I'm firing everybody." How can you fire everybody?
Oh, excuse me. My question is, what happened to our checks and balances system? That when did the president of the United States have ultimate power? Because that's and nobody
they gave it to him, Kel. They gave it to him. The Congress has become so compliant that he's basically he's always sending up trial balloons. So he was checking out. Let's see how they respond to this. Let's see how they respond to that. And when he sees that he's going to be able to get away with not bending the law but breaking the law, then okay, let me see how much further I can go. And so that's what he's doing. The checks and balances are on the books, but these guys, in particular the Republican Party, will not give him any hassle. And so now what does he do? He challenges the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. Now let's see what they're going to do, is what he's saying to himself. And he's challenging them about this termination thing. He wants to terminate someone else, and they've told him no. So now he's challenging the Supreme Court, and he wants to see how they're going to react. And it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to that. Mm-hmm. Because one of the things he's done, brother, is that going to these football games and going to the Daytona 500, it's a way to keep the attention on him, and yet him not have to discuss the issues that many of us have concerns about, because they're covering this foolishness. And we were saying the other week that he's great at misdirection plays, and so now we see all these misdirection plays. He didn't show up at the NBA All-Star game, though, did he? Too many of y'all for that. We ain't gonna do that.
It's right? Too early for it.
Too many of y'all.
You're making my face tear up, man.
So, we going to the Daytona 500, and we're going to the Super Bowl. So here we have it, and then we learn that Eric Adams had approached him even before the inauguration about his situation. because lately Adams has lost 4 of his vice mayors. They've resigned,
Right.
because they refuse to be a part of this type of quid pro quo immoral behavior.
Mm.
And he really is a disappointment, man. I really thought that the brother was going to be a stand-up kind of politician, because he sure sounded like it. But it's like I tell people a lot of times, when you get people downtown and they're facing jail time, they're telling their mama and your mama, because these guys just don't want to go in there, because they're going to find out that all them horror stories are true.
Mm.
And he was a cop at one time, so you may have some folk out there that are thinking, you better not come in here. And so now he's in a place where I understand he's approached the Republican Party about changing his political affiliation from Republican to Democrat, which of course I believe would cost him the mayoralty of New York. If he becomes Republican, I don't see him being able to win an election.
Well, let's be honest. Trump has been wanting to get more accolades and approval from New York as a whole, because that's where a lot of the big stuff happens, is up in New York. And so he hadn't been accepted. That was the problem.
Well, as the mayor that was a millionaire in New York,
Bloomberg.
Actually had who?
Bloomberg,
right? Said, I'm a New Yorker. I'm hard to fool. And that's the problem with a lot of New Yorkers, man. They can see the con game. They can see that this guy is insincere, and even more, he's all about himself. Because if you'll watch, he's pushing to see how far his personal businesses can benefit from his present tenure in office. And if it looks like that, he can go as far as he'd like to go, he's going to do it. That's just the way he plays the game, man. And all of that talk they did about weaponizing the Department of Justice, and then they turn around and do the very same thing, and the good mayor, the good mayor goes along with it, and he was trying to game, because he was saying, listen, you make me a Republican, you get rid of this, I will support your immigration program, no matter who it harms. And that's what he's doing.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, this happened because listen, he got them dogs off of him. Let's call it what it is.
Well, not yet, but he certainly has begun the process. Hey, Kathy Joe. I don't know, man. And I think that we haven't seen anything but the beginning of how corrupt and criminal intent this administration is going to be.
It's chaos, Pastor Rashi. Listen.
Totally.
As long as this is how I explain to somebody. I'm one of those who, as a young man, a little boy, I was always fascinated with magic. Matter of fact, I even read a book about Harry Houdini when I was a kid. And so,
bad boy.
So, but here's what I learned about magic. There is no magic. A lot of illusions, things like that. It's about sleight of hand. It's about creating a distraction. So, if you notice, whenever you look at someone doing a magic trick, especially something that's close up, there's like the guy who knows how to steal your watch right off your wrist. He's creating a distraction to get your attention off what he's trying to do, is steal your watch. He's like, oh, look over here. While you're looking over there, looking at his left hand, shaking in the air, his right hand is taking the watch off your wrist.
Right. Well, isn't that what we've been saying about the stuff that Trump is doing? These going to these gigantic public events, because he still gets the attention of the media, but
Right.
it's not on the subject that you and I and others are concerned about. It's on him attending these gigantic entertainment shows.
Listen,
I don't know how people keep going for that.
because we're falling for the okie doke. The thing is, man, look at what he's doing over here. He's firing everybody else. Okay. It's all a sleight of hands. That's all he's doing is being a magician, and all he's doing is creating a big distraction so that we fall for the okie doke. And listen, let's this everything he said he was going to do, he's doing it. He told us.
That's true.
He told us, I'm coming after the people who came after me. And that means look, everybody on the top who was in managers to the janitors. He's coming for everybody. If you were part of the previous administration and you had anything to do with those charges that were brought against him in any way, shape, or form, anything to do with the Biden regime, his goal is to erase anything that the Biden regime has done. The problem is, well, you know what? I won't even say it's a problem. You know why? Because again, he's doing what he's saying he's going to do. It's to create the chaos and the distraction so we keep our eyes off of what's really going on. And matter of fact, I said it before, I'm going to really urge people to go look at the movie Don't Look Up Now. I'm really going to.
It's an interesting movie.
because you know what?
It is an interesting movie.
Because, hey, as you see, all the characters in that movie that were portrayed now are now live. They're characters of life. Like there's have you seen Don't Look Up, right, Pastor?
No, I haven't.
Pastor Burrell,
it's interesting, man.
Don't Look Up.
Well, I like that because I need something interesting to watch.
Oh, let me tell you something. It is what's the term? Art reflecting life.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, spoiler alert. I'm gonna give some of it away. There was a character in there who is Elon Musk, or a Elon Musk type character.
Yeah.
And
that's the best way to put that.
And let me tell you something. The dude who plays Elon Musk, or this Elon Musk type character, is him all
plays him to the max.
Clueless. Got all the money
to the max.
Thinks he's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And again, spoiler alert, the genius is the one who winds up screwing up the world, right, Rashid?
Yes, indeed.
That's the one who
but you know, so much of that, brother, in the movie and in real life is voluntary. We, no matter what he said, it's like when Christians or hypocritical Christians, or Christians who not really have an understanding of what they're into, and have read the story of Adam and Eve in the garden and either ignored it or don't understand it and listen to Satan anyway. Satan never compels us, never makes us do anything. We decide to do it. And as a result of our making that decision, there are, of course, consequences. You know, he's just like Dracula. You remember in the old Dracula movies, you'd go to Dracula's crib and come to the door, and Dracula would open the door and say, what? Enter of what? Your own free will. That's the same thing we see happening with Trump, and that happens when we deal with the devil. Your own free will. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't made us believe anything. And as you said several times earlier, he's only doing what he's promised to do, what he said he would do. Remember, we had these folks talking about, oh, he's just saying that. He ain't gonna do that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we're gonna see. And now look at the shape you're in, you know. And finally that boy, what's his name? The president of Ukraine said, listen, ain't gonna be no peace with Ukraine if Ukrainian people are not involved in the process. I'm trying to figure out how you having peace talks about the Ukraine and none of them at the table. How are the Arabs involved in that process?
And you know, I'm so glad that they're just starting out from Jump Street. You know, you don't have to mislead anybody. You don't have to misunderstand. But listen, you're not going to tell me we're going to make peace and Russia gets to keep the land that they've stolen.
Yeah, 20% of Ukraine.
No, we're moving
that
original borders. And see, the people who are listening to Donald Trump and the foolishness he's talking, I get elected, we'll have peace the next day.
Hey,
All that
said, brother.
Yeah. We'll get peace. No. You ain't talking
the next day.
You talking about capitulation.
Yeah.
Or that's what you talking about. Yeah. So
here we are.
Help us.
And he basically put what's that boy's name, Zelensky, in a position where he had to finally stand up and say, listen, this is not going to happen unless we're involved. Because if he hadn't said anything, they would have come up with a peace process that did not involve anybody who is from Ukraine. They would have come up with that, tried to put it into place. Because, now he's talking to people in different countries, telling them not only is there going to be a tariff involved in their lives, but he's looking for them to give America, under his leadership, mineral and riches. That, okay, not only are you going to do that, but we need 20% of your gold. We need 30% of your tin. And I'm saying, how y'all listening to that? Let's just go to war. That's the deal. Let's just go to war. Because we're not going to live in poverty for you.
The same way Zelensky has let them know up front, there is no peace if you talk about Russia gets to keep our land that they've stolen. The same way the Mexican president said when Trump said, we're going to build a wall and they're going to pay for it. The man said, we ain't going to build no effing wall. That's what he said now.
That's what he said.
Oh, no, that's what the president said.
That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah. So, yeah. He fools some of the people, some of the time. Some of the people all the time.
All the time.
All of the people.
Some of the time.
You never fool all of the people. All of the time. You won't.
And that's what he's attempting to do.
And I love
that girl. Go ahead, brother.
I love the biblical story of Ahab and the other kings getting ready to go to battle. And all of them prophets got together and said, yes, go. You will prevail.
Right.
Yeah.
And they said, have we consulted everybody? And so what about Micaiah ben Imlah? Man, Ahab speaks up quick. I don't want to hear from him. He never has anything good to say about it.
Good to say. That's what he said.
They went out there and got their behinds handed to them.
Yeah.
And Micaiah didn't have to say, well, I told you, but the question is, who are you listening to? Man, you want to read a good biblical narrative. We all know, I know the plans I have for you. Jeremiah 29:13.
Yeah.
But go read 27 and 28 leading up to 29. There was a prophet by the name of Hananiah. Hananiah said, we ain't going to be here long. Man, we getting ready to go back home. Jeremiah said, listen here. He said, pray for the good of the city. He said, plant you some vineyards, build you some houses, marry off your sons and your daughters. He said, because we're going to be here a little while. So who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to Hananiah? Look you in your face and tell you a lie? Or are you going to listen to the true man of God, Jeremiah? And that's where we are in this country now. Who are you going to listen to? I mean, Donald Trump has lied so much that anybody who tells me that they are a Christian, I don't like that word to start with. Amen.
Can't
I like
find
the
that
word
in the Bible.
Christ follower.
Right.
Yeah, that's my term, Christ follower. If you say you are a Christ follower and all that that man is and all that he represents, and you're going to tell me how godly he is, I just look at you and say, well, God bless you.
Mhm.
Heaven smile upon you. You know, because now we asked this question. We tried to halfway, and I've given it a little more time than some of the people that I've talked to, which is how long is it going to take a significant part of the people that voted for Donald John Trump to begin to have buyer's remorse?
They starting to pop up now.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
think
Come on.
that's happening. That's happening now.
Right, but I say, but that's my quantifier was a significant portion. We have some
Well,
every now and then, you know, even for. But look at Mr. Coward, Yertle the Turtle, Mitch McConnell. You see what I'm saying?
Mitch whooping now.
Yeah. Mitch is trying to stand up and have some kahunas.
But he's out though. He's done.
No,
Exactly.
But then
That's
he
why
don't.
he's whooping.
No,
retiring.
he is no longer the Senate Majority Leader. But
That's right.
he's still a senator representing the state of Kentucky.
But then he.
Yeah, but just for a moment more.
Yeah,
He's in the term. He's gone.
Yeah, he ain't giving us no. He ain't gave us no timetable.
Yeah, he did. This is his last term.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but then when does this term? Well, I tell you, we talking now. I like the way you said we got the computer in our hands. You keep talking.
Yeah.
You're looking that up, Burrell. Is something that you really hit on for me when you talk about Christians or believers or however you want to label yourself. And I looked up her name because I've been watching her. Trump's press secretary, Caroline.
Oh Lord.
What's how you pronounce her last name? Levitt. Let me tell you why I have a problem watching this woman.
Why?
Because she gets up on that podium every day with that big crucifix around her neck, and I find it offensive.
Okay. This term expires, y'all.
Okay.
This term runs through January 3rd, 2027.
Okay.
A midterm.
If he makes it.
Midterm.
He's got a couple more years.
If he makes it. Because now remember, the overriding factor with him is his health or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're now keeping it quiet when he faints or when he's unable to be mobile or anything like that. They're not letting us talk about it or letting us know about it. But the fact of the matter is that he is a sick person. You know, one of the things that we've seen, and not just with guys like Mitch, is that we've seen it with our own representatives, is that you get to a point where your age is showing you that the kind of energy that you need, the kind of mobility that you must have, the kind of thinking that is required for your position is not there anymore, or you're moving so slow with it, it might as well not be there. And at that point, that's when you need to say, like, you know, I had said from the very beginning that I thought Biden was too old, and you guys poo-pooed me. No, man, he ain't too old. No. But the thing that's happened to him is the thing that happens to all of us. At some point, your age says no.
The debate performance was what sunk him. Boom.
Yeah, but that's our fault because we saw that coming. You could see that he was. I remember you and I talked about it. I said, well, I don't know. He's still dressing like he used to dress. He still tries to move like that. But we all have known older people who have not been able in their daily living to do the things they used to do as well as they used to do them. And it's not like he's been in politics and been inactive. He's always been a very active politician, always worked very hard in whatever position he was in, whether you agreed with him or not. He was a hard-working man. And he just, you watch, Trump is going to begin to show the same kinds of issues. Because I was watching him the other day trying to talk. And when he can't pull it together, he says something stupid.
Well, I tell you, him sitting at that desk of that Oval Office with Elon Musk standing over top of him, and even having his son.
Yeah.
Boy,
Mm.
we've never had anything like that.
No, man.
That was so unpresidential.
First thing,
It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Why would you even why would you even bring your child to a press conference like that? That isn't it. You want me to tell you something? That's an insult to the position of president.
And then the dress. Trump has on a suit and tie.
Suit. Yeah.
Trump's aides, all suit and tie. and
Suit and
everything.
tie.
This joker over here, like he just came from a hunting expedition.
So what is he showing us? That's the question. What is Elon Musk showing us about how he thinks about himself?
Rashid, I'm sorry, y'all need to go watch Don't Look Up. I'm telling you.
I watched Don't Look Up, but
Send me a text.
let's deal with that reality. What is he showing us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
He's showing us that he doesn't care, that he believes he's above all of it and everyone, that he doesn't have to show respect, and that as a result of that, he knows that nothing is going to happen to him. Now they're talking about giving his people access to all of the income tax returns, to all of the tax information. Well, why does he need that? He has yet to tell us how much of his business money is coming from the government and what he's in conflict with.
And
Trump's not going to ask him because Trump's a crook too. He's a convicted felon, for crying out loud. So Elon Musk is in the White House, like you said, terribly underdressed, not caring what people think. And that's right, Kathy Joe. No respect. None for Trump either. He ain't trying to impress him
It sure ain't.
because he got him bought already.
That's it. I gave you without my $250 million, you wouldn't be sitting where you sitting.
Wouldn't be sitting there. I'm gonna do what I want. You coming there with your son on top of your shoulders. I should have been sitting in there.
What did the son say to
They tell me he swore at him. I don't know if he did or not. I didn't hear the little boy swear. I saw him pick his nose.
Sorry, Pastor Burrell, this is playing on Channel 6 over your shoulder right now. People gather to protest Trump administration down on South Beach, down at the too little, too late. I'm sorry.
Sure is, man. I don't want to hear it. This is what y'all wanted.
right?
Why are you complaining now? This is what you wanted. You gave him 8 million votes. Black men gave him what, 14% of their votes? Man, you just wait. Yeah, just wait. You're in trouble. America is in trouble. And then today he comes out and says that as far as the Department of Education is concerned, that anything having to do with education and having to do with people of color, and the school talks about it or teaches it, the school is in danger of losing its funding. We don't even want y'all to talk about slavery. We don't want y'all to talk about the civil rights movement. We don't want you to talk about Black men being killed basically for no reason. We don't even want to hear it. And if you do teach it, you'll be teaching it on your own. But you know what? See, here's the other thing. Just let me say this and I'm done for a minute. We're in a position where we have to do what that sister in Mississippi did, where she was a teacher and they weren't teaching our children correctly.
Now here it is. Go ahead, Raji. I got it. So I'll let you finish what you're saying. Tell us about the situation in Mississippi. Go ahead.
So she starts a storefront school on her own The point is that all the complaining that our people are doing or about to do is not going to do us any good. We need to begin to build our own. And we don't need, and she is showing us you don't need no whole lot of money to do it. You just got to have some will. That's what we got to do. Because he's making sure we don't get any more help.
I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
I got it. Okay.
Pastor Burrell.
Elon Musk's 4-year-old son told President Trump to shush your mouth. That's what he said. Shush your mouth. And he further told President Trump, you are not the president and you need to go away.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Let me tell you something.
I agree with that.
To all people, to my middle class white brothers and sisters, listen, y'all better understand that he does not care about any of us. Nobody.
Sure
Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do?
Sure.
This is what I'm gonna do. I shared this on my Facebook page. I'm gonna share this quick conversation. See if I can pull it up. Y'all get. This is
turn sound down. Turn sound down.
No, I'm going to share this audio on the microphone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you talk about history, you got to hear this conversation. Oh man, wait a minute. Hold on. You got to hear this conversation because this one, I shared this one on my Facebook page. Listen,
without not through black people. Oh, it wasn't. It wasn't because of free labor. Are you talking about slavery? No, I'm talking about slavery and also what happened after slavery, which Douglas Blackman talked about, slavery by another name. So I'm trying to understand when you say didn't need it, how do you think America became the greatest economy that it did? How do you think that happened? Through the genius of Europeans. How was the genius of Europeans? The fact of the matter is, it was actually King Cotton that supplied the economic means for America to do so, and that was a result of free labor from black people. Look, the whole point here is that who creates these systems? Who creates these business models and businesses? Slavery was a business model. Well, yes, it was a business model. Yeah, and was that one that you like or dislike? I dislike. You dislike. I absolutely reject it. Okay, yeah. So but you deny the reality, though. That's what allowed America to become the economic power, because America supplied 91% of the world's cotton, and so as a result of that, that's how America was able to fund the Industrial Revolution. It was because of free labor from black people. The Industrial Revolution originated in Britain and originated in the countryside of Britain. No. I said the money generated from that. But I asked you again. Okay, you said we don't need anybody else. No. But the reality is, American history proves you wrong. The fact of the matter is, there is no great America. You can't sit here and talk about that greatness without other people making that happen. We could have figured out another way to pick cotton. White people could have figured out another way. That didn't work. Yeah, we'll do it now. We've done it previously. I don't know what books you read, but no, that's actually not what happened. But you said y'all would have figured it out, but you didn't. In your video, you said,
So I shared that.
Who is that? Who is he? Who is Roland Martin talking to?
I'm not sure exactly who.
Give me his name and his title, his position.
I've seen that, but I've seen him before talk that foolishness. I can't remember his name though, but I've seen him before.
Listen, I grew up in Virginia, and I've had people tell me Virginia is not in the South.
Oh
and
my
I said,
goodness.
it may not be in the South, but the capital of the Confederacy was there.
Sure was.
So you can talk all the okey-doke and foolish you want. And before I listen to you, I will listen to a man like Douglas Southall Freeman, who has been critically acclaimed as one of the eminent historians in American history, who said that the cause of the Civil War was slavery.
No question.
I'm going to listen to him before I listen to you with all of your, and when I say the word ignorant, I'm not being pejorative. You know, in Acts chapter 4, it said they perceived that these were ignorant men. wasn't ignorant that they didn't have no sense. It was ignorance, meaning that they were unlearned. They hadn't gone to rabbinical school. You see what I mean? You know, all of us have had that. All of us, and I said, my friend right here, he got some letters behind his name now, but Rashid Zibaif is one of the sharpest people I know, black, white, or polka dot. You know what I'm saying? And up until last year before that, he had no college degree. You see what I'm saying? But the people like Rashid are few and far between. A lot of people out here, as James Brown famously said, like a dull knife, just ain't cutting.
Well,
you talking loud, you ain't saying nothing.
Michael McKenzie gave us that name. He says that was Richard Spencer, an alt-right racist.
There you go. We could have figured it out.
But you did.
Yep.
You ain't figured it out.
Well, didn't try to. Tried people after people. You know.
The fact that the fact that you put two brain cells together to give that response, like it should be a rational response. Well, we could have, but you didn't.
You didn't.
And at that point, 91%, based upon what he said, 91% of the world's cotton came from the United States of America, which that constitutes pretty much a monopoly almost.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you control 91% of the world's market of anything, you become very rich and very powerful.
The crop grows in the South, but you then got to get it to the North to the textile mill.
And overseas.
You turn it into whatever product, you know, whatever kind of cloth or whatever you're going to make.
And to show you how powerful that is, when they decided they weren't going to buy anything from Haiti anymore in terms of cotton production, the country went basically bankrupt because that's the price they were trying to make them pay for the Haiti revolution. And the brother that said, well, black men gave her 84% of the black vote. That's not 100. That's not 90. And the Republicans got what, 7%? Trump got 7% the first time around, and this time he doubles what he has. I didn't say that we had given him 90%. I said we gave him 14%. We should have given him anything. And if people were reading him, I was in New York when he was in New York. He's always been a liar and a cheat. He's always been a thief. And for us to decide that we're going to follow the media as it reports the reality of Trump, that's insanity. That's the ignorance that my brother is talking about here. We're not talking about ignorant in terms of not understanding anything. We're talking about ignorance in terms of not knowing enough about this candidate to throw away your vote. You vote for him.
I like what Nick says, Pastor Rashid. He says, I ask them all the time, how long was it going to take for them to invent the filament for the light bulb?
Until a black man came along and showed them how to do it.
That's right, Lewis Latimer. That's right. And see, here's what I say. And I toot my own horn. You know, I know what the Bible teaches about love. And I do my darndest to exhibit love. You know, go that extra mile when Jesus says, if you only love those who love you, you ain't done nothing.
Yeah, what have you got?
He said, love your enemies. That's what he told us to do. So, but if I tell you that the foolishness that you did, well, I can understand why you, we don't need to teach that. We don't need DEI. Black History Month came in on the 1st on a Saturday. And on that day, we got an executive order saying no more teaching history. The Department of Defense, this new guy, Hegseth, I forget, was it the Naval Academy or whatever? They were doing a module on the Tuskegee Airmen. And they told them mid-sentence, don't teach that no more. You can't teach that anymore. You see what I'm saying? You know, here were the guys in football, you call it interference. The blockers running interference, clearing away. You know, they escorted our bombers into Italy and Germany
Yeah.
in order to make the bombing runs and not losing. And let me share this interesting fact. The first Top Gun competition sponsored by the Air Force happened in 1949. 1949. The winning team was a group of 4 men that were part of the Tuskegee Airmen. But what did they do? What did they do? They did not present them with the trophy. Okay? They did not acknowledge that it happened. And I don't think we heard about this until 2005. I say this. I ain't gonna get no trouble. If you get in trouble for telling the truth, you need to get in trouble. If I had done all of the evil and all of the underhandedness and all of the shady stuff that's been done in this country, especially toward its people of color, I wouldn't want you to know it either.
Mm-hmm.
I would hide it. No, you can't teach that because it's giving my child a guilt trip. It's making them feel bad. Well, how you think I feel? If an eminent psychologist like Dr. Clark could take white doll babies and black doll babies, and little black girls will do what every time? They pick the white doll babies.
They sure did.
Show you the psychological damage that was being done to us. So now you have some African Americans, all right, whether it's the Hebrew Israelites, whether it's the Nation of Islam, and people like that, who they began to do what now? They began to exalt who black people are. This is what we did. We are descendants of kings and queens and advanced civilizations in Africa and everything. Oh no, we don't need to teach that. I don't know that that can't be true and that kind of thing. Well, you do a little reading. Yes, it is true. Very much true.
You know what's interesting, Pastor Murray? I was telling Pastor Rashid about I had spoken to some people, some white people who were regretting what they particularly hadn't voted, but some of their friends did. But also in the same sentence, here's what they also said. It was almost like, how dare you downgrade what black folks have done? He said, this is a older white gentleman telling this to me. I wouldn't even have a cell phone if it wasn't for Africa.
That's right.
True.
This is coming out of his mouth.
The metals, precious metals that have to be unearthed.
Matter of fact, during this time, he even spoke about, and again, we don't hear these things on the media because they're being stifled. The fact that some of these countries in Africa that have these elements that we needed are now refusing to sell to the United States and now are selling to China.
Yeah, China got a lot invested in Africa.
So that's why we need to take over Greenland. Let's go somewhere.
Now it makes sense. Because Greenland is untapped land that probably has tons of minerals. Hey, see, Rashid, don't look up.
Global warming is causing a lot of what was called permafrost. That solidly frozen land to thaw, which was what? Is making it easier to mine these metals and to get to them. So why am I going to waste my time trying to sit at a negotiating table with you on how I can buy it and get my hands on it when I got an advanced military and I can just come steal it?
Well, Pastor Burrell,
I'll take it.
There's another reason why you got to watch Don't Look Up. Everything that we talk, am I telling the truth, Rashid?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to look at it tonight.
Here's another spoiler alert, and here's where that capitalism comes. I mean, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with capitalism, but capitalism to the point where It just doesn't make any sense. In the movie, there is a extinction event that's about to happen. There's this huge giant meteor that is going to hit
That's right.
world.
That's right.
And it is, if it hits, it's going to destroy the whole planet. Okay. But in that great research, and the Elon Musk character realizes that the meteor is made out of all these precious elements and metals that we need. $1 trillion worth. Trillions. So they come up with a plan
to bomb it into smaller pieces so we can probably could get our hands on it. At least we think we can.
Now, the reason why it's called Don't Look Up, because they started a campaign of that the person who discovered this is basically saying we all gonna die. So the everyday average person is now concerned. What's gonna happen? We all gonna die. So what does the opposition do? Oh, it's not real. What they telling you is fake. So just don't look up. Well,
and you know what's so sad about it, y'all? What's so sad about it? To a large degree, we as African Americans are our own worst enemies.
oh, facts.
Without
One of the
question.
One of the things that Trump got a whole lot of targets, Doc. But you know what one of them is? PBS.
Mhm.
Let's get rid of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch some
Too much
good
diversity.
documentaries, and especially about the civil rights movement. There's no better place to go than your free local for us. That's Channel 2 and Channel 17.
Mhm.
See, and the Palm Beach one is Channel 42.
Well, keep in mind, Pastor Burrell, he said in his, I don't know if it was this campaign or his last campaign, how much he liked uneducated people. He said it right.
I like uneducated people.
Just as plain as with.
I love dumb people. Okay. All right. So now we have the opportunity. This is Black History Month now. Black History Month. Today is the 17th. Find the first 10 people you see tomorrow. I'm serious. You could do this at Boyd Anderson with teachers. You could do this with teachers, educators, and ask them, have they watched one civil rights documentary this month? The answer would be no. But ask them, have they watched Basketball Wives and Housewives of this? And I'm telling you, Doc, that's where we are. That's what
no question about it.
Doc, we're sleeping through the revolution. We're sleeping through the revolution, and we don't have anybody to blame but ourselves.
That's all.
You're right, Pastor Burrell, but here's how we fix it on our own. Even if you ain't picking up a book, there are historical movies that you can watch that will inform you and your family about some of the great things that have been done in history. Matter of fact, I just recently watched for the umpteenth time the movie with Mos Def. I believe it's called What the Lord Has Made.
Yes, that's about the electric light bulb.
No. That's about the brother who created the. He assisted with creating the surgery that healed what was called blue babies. There were children that were.
Mos Def?
Yes, he played Dr. Vivian. So I believe it's on.
You might want to check that out. I'm thinking that was the one he did with Edison.
No,
about the light bulb.
Remember, I said I watched it for the umpteenth time. Now, as far as Black vernacular goes, that's a whole lot. And I just watched it. I just finished watching it last night. He plays it's Vivian. I forget his last name, and Dr. Blaylock, and they're at St. John's Hospital. And this is him going through what he had to deal with, even at St. John's, and how he was paid. He didn't realize until he was in the position that he was a lab technician, but being paid as a janitor. And how he had to fight for his own things that he invented this special clamp that allowed them to even work on the children because the babies were so small or the children were so small that the clamps and tools that were originally made, they were too big. And because his daddy was a carpenter and worked with his hands and had taught him this trade, he knew how to make tools.
Amen.
And so he had worked on, he had figured out, and basically what they had to do was reroute this artery to allow blood flow to go to the lungs. And it was a birth defect that these children were born with. And you would see they were called blue babies because they weren't getting enough oxygen. So he had
I'm gonna have to find that.
But see, Kelly, you know, I'm sitting there, my mind is racing. Know what we're getting ready to do Friday with these young men going to the top.
Yep.
All right, Kelly, somebody, I don't know what kind of regular schedule these young men are meeting with their mentors or whatever, but somebody need to be assigning some books to these young people to read and come back and give us or give their peers a book report, you know, and somewhere along the line, you'll be surprised, but somebody's appetite will be whetted. Their appetites will be whetted to like, I want to learn more. I want to know more, you know, about this. Henrietta Lacks in Baltimore, Maryland. They took her cells and made multiple millions upon and millions of dollars.
Right.
Did she benefit from it?
That was the movie.
Not at all.
Oprah Winfrey.
That was a good movie too.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, this stuff is everywhere. But what are we doing? What are we doing trying to learn it? What are we doing to try to disseminate the information, to get it out there?
That's what I'm saying about Miss Hooper. Miss Hooper is a sister that's in Yazoo City, Mississippi.
Okay.
Lenora Hooper. The name of the school is the Abundance Education Academy. And I read about her in the New York Times. And the sister just blew my heart up. When I saw how she wasn't getting paid, her husband was working as a janitor, and initially they weren't charging the students, but now they charge them, I think it's $600 for the school year, something to that effect. And I've decided that I'm going to send a piece of my tithes to her every week. So we can do these things like you were just saying, Pastor Burrell. You know, we need to be doing the things that will spark something in our children. You know, one of the things I'm grateful to my mom about, who went to Tuskegee, was the fact that there were always books around. Ever since I could remember, there were books around. And if you go to the houses of anybody in my family, my brothers and sisters, they may not have that big screen TV, but everybody got a library. Everybody got a library.
Everybody got a TV now. Yeah. And you know what? With if you can't even afford cable, with the what do you call the thing where, you know, when you go to channel 6, there's at least 4 channels. Channel 7
HDTV.
High
definition TV.
Okay, yeah. Over the OTA.
So there's
over the air.
Yeah, so there's multiple.
So when you go to channel 33, there's 7 channels.
There's sub channels under there.
There's 7 channels. Because one of them I've been watching quite a bit lately is channel 33.07. You know what it has? The old school cartoons. If you want to see some Jetsons, some Fred Flintstone, you want to see Johnny Quest, you want to see
Johnny Quest.
You mean actually cartoons that made us think?
Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss, Exit Stage Left, one of my favorites. I see my friend. Thank you, Pastor Varner, for watching today. Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Yeah. I mean, doctor, if you don't have money to afford cable or dish or direct TV or whatever, now the one thing that'll get you, and then you'll be spoiled. You'll be spoiled if you could afford some of the streaming stuff, Paramount, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon
got all of
Prime.
those.
I'm just saying. But if you
It's
could
cheaper than
afford
cable.
theirs, yeah. But here's what you miss. You've gotten used to not seeing commercials. Now to get the over-the-air channels, they're gonna load you down with commercials. They're gonna load you down, and when you've been used to not seeing them, it can just you be like, oh my goodness, not another one. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to be able to deal with your free TV is all them extra commercials and stuff.
I'm laughing, Pastor Morrell.
Yeah.
Because that process went through my mind today, and it wasn't actually with television; it was actually with radio.
Mm-hmm.
Because with my new vehicle, I listen. I always had my XM,
Mm-hmm.
and then now I just decided. I'll be honest with you. Ever since Kendrick Lamar, I just decided to download Apple Music, and I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar, and then I started listening to some other stuff. And then today, I'm out driving, and I turn on the radio, playing some good music. Then the commercials came in. And I realized how long this commercial break was. It was like 10 minutes long, or at least it felt like.
Yeah. And you're like, see, I'm personally, I don't need anybody to try to sell me anything. If I want it, I know how to go get it. You know what I mean? I know how to search for it. I don't need, and that's what marketing is all about. You know, when the man used to come to your door selling Kirby vacuum cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
And you tried to close the door, but he didn't put his foot in the door. Man, shoot, if that man talked to you long enough, he had you believing, I got to have this vacuum. I got to have this vacuum. No, I don't need you to convince me of something that I need. If I need it, I know how to go get it. I know how to do my homework, you know, and choose the best of those products and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, I mean, oh boy.
I'm telling
Oh,
you.
boy. See, what I don't want to see happen, Pastor Rashid, but I don't want to see people among us begin to throw their hands up in the air and give up.
Yep.
Well,
I don't want them to do that.
and let me tell you this. Some people are feeling that way. But now, and I got to be honest with you, we've been in this room for 5 years now. And having to say the same message over and over again. And we're not the only ones that are saying this message.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
And now, wait, I don't know which day it is, and I've heard people talk about it. But there's supposed to be this day of
The 28th, next Friday.
okay.
That's the big day.
Black folks don't spend your money.
That's right. That's the big day. Next Friday.
Pastor Rashid, how many years I've been saying we needed to do that? We need to be marching with our money.
As long as I've known you.
But see, here's what's happening.
Especially since you've been on the air.
That's the big one. That's the big one. But you got all of these other little ones and other people saying stuff. See, how do we get the information out? Social media makes it easy. How do we agree on what it is we say we're going to do? I'll give you a perfect example. I'm not ready to get back out on the golf course yet, but I'm getting there. So all my fellow golfers and godly golfers, y'all better run. Because Burrell is coming. But next Friday's our golf day. So that we can abide by this so-called boycott. We said, well, I guess that means we ain't gonna be able to play no golf. Because it ain't no black-owned golf courses. Yes, it is. Martin Down, Luke Campbell's brother, Stanley Campbell, owns Martin Downs in Palm City, Florida,
Really?
right off of I-95.
How
So-
far away is that?
Give it to somebody. We're gonna give it to somebody that what? That looks like us, so we can do what? We can go play golf at a facility that's owned by one of us.
Michael Jordan owns a
How
golf.
far away is that?
Yeah, but his thing is so private, you can't.
I know. I was gonna say we can't afford it.
Yeah, you can't. So we can't. We
Oh,
can't.
okay.
Yeah. You don't even. You know, that's just nice to mention that he owns that course. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Nick says I haven't given up. I'm just sitting this one out.
Yeah.
I understand.
But again,
But
And listen, we haven't put it in stone. It's not in concrete, but at least we came up with the idea that in order to be in league and conjunction with what's going on, here's how we need to do it. Because we're being told not to spend money anywhere that day.
well,
Don't buy gas, don't buy Amazon, Walmart, Target.
I agree.
Don't buy anybody.
And I agree with it. Here's the problem that we're running into. Number one, what is our expectation if we're recognized? What do we want? Number two, we don't have leadership leading the charge. And that's the way they wanted it.
Well, we got to get it together. We got to get it together. Look here. Look here.
And I got to be
Look
honest, I ain't calling nobody out, but where's
No,
our
no.
NAACP
But listen,
right now?
listen. The
That's not fair.
Montgomery bus boycott. Other people had attempted to do similar kind of things and stuff, but Dr. King and Fred Shuttlesworth and Ralph David Abernathy and Hosea Williams and on and on and on and on, they persisted. They persisted to the point where we ain't gonna ride the bus. Okay. Well, you ain't gonna ride the bus. And so what did the white ladies do? They started going on outside of town, picking up their maids, bringing them back. And the husband said, you can't go pick that maid up no more. And to that, the wife said, well, you make the bed up and you wash the clothes. So, amen. The white wife continued to what? Go pick up the maid. Okay? Until the aim and objective of the boycott was realized. You tell me I got to ride your bus, but I got to give up and give my seat to somebody else. I got to sit in the back. Somebody must be crazy, and it ain't me.
You know what's interesting about that is that while the brothers organized around that issue, it was the sisters who started that boycott.
Oh yeah.
That's I mean, those sisters just
talking
said,
about-
okay, tonight's the night.
Yeah, we created our own taxi cab service at Montgomery,
Yep.
transporting each other.
And
Yeah.
I have said this privately and publicly. I believe the real reason why Martin Luther King was killed
Economics
was economics. It was.
and the Vietnam War.
It was
Yeah.
economics.
As long as he talking about, y'all, I don't want to be your brother-in-law. I want to be your brother. And all of the right stuff, as far as this country, we live together as brother or die together as fools. You know what I mean? He was saying all of the right stuff. But Doc, when he came out bringing an economic message and opposing the Vietnam War, the powers that be said he got to go now.
Listen, the Alabama bus boycott was the prequel to the national boycott that they were organizing. Because now what's happened, and Nick reminded me of that number, today's number, $1.7 trillion. That's more than the national gross product of some small countries. So we are a country within a country. $1.7 trillion. Imagine if you stop that for one day. But now here's the thing. And again, I ask, what is our expectation to come out of this? What do we want? Now that we finally talking about marching with, and let me tell you this, I'm going to participate. I'm not going to spend a dime on Friday. Friday is pizza night. Sorry, Papa John's and Domino's, but y'all out. Okay, I'm gonna cook some food.
Make your own.
I'm not buying.
Okay.
I filled up a couple of days ago. If I gotta wait another day or two to fill up my tank, and you know what we've gotten? Remember when we used to have Black Dollar days where everybody went and got their $2 bills, old coins, silver coins, and that's how we spent our money.
I think one time your son was in here and I gave him a $2 bill.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, Clemson always had a good football team and they won some national championships and stuff. But what they would do, people supporting Clemson University, they would go to their local banks before they went to their bowl games, wherever they would be, and they would buy up, they would get every $2 bill they could get their hands on. And in the city where that bowl game was being had, they not only had the $2 bill, but they had a stamp on it where they had put that tiger paw.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So that was a visual reminder to the restaurant, to the hotel, and to everybody else that what? Some Clemson Tigers been by here.
Nick Freeman just said all we really want is to be left alone. I disagree. What I want is to be recognized. I want you to understand that I am here. I make a difference. My people make a difference. My money makes a difference. I make a difference as an individual. I make a difference as a people. I want my children to get the best education. I want my children to have the true opportunity that we all deserve. Okay. I know what I want. I want to, if you're going to take away DEI, then let's make the playing field truly even. Let's make the economics even. Let's make sure that you know what I never understood, Pastor Burrell, when I was a kid. I would it's two things that would really boggle my mind. Well, all these people getting all this money where they ain't got to work during the day. Or where are they getting this money so they can take this vacation or afford this house? Or what kind of jobs do that? Make the playing field even. In other words, give us, excuse me, and I'm saying give because I don't know another word to use, but simply make the playing field even.
That's right.
Because we're now to the point, and this ain't just for black folks. This is again for my middle class white folks, because y'all in the same boat with us. Y'all are in the same boat. Don't let it be fooled. If you are a middle class person in this country or below, we are all in the same boat.
My wife is a Civil War buff, and she says it like this: how did that rich planter who owned slaves convince those poor ragtag white boys to go out and fight a battle and die by the thousands?
Because they told them, at least you ain't black.
That's it. Okay, amen now.
Now remember, there were spaces in history where black folk and white folks seemed to be coming together. And they immediately began to tell them, yeah, but you're not a nigga, you're not a slave, you're not that. They are not equal with you. Look at your skin. So that's how they sold that. And again, we have to go out and get it. We just have to. I mean, look at all we have accomplished, and we haven't accomplished as much as we could have because of all that they've done, as Trump is doing now, to obstruct us and to discourage us and to make us believe that things are so bad they can't get better. But that's always been a lie. I mean, look at your grandparents. Look at your forebears. Look at how those who came over here on those boats have become everything from presidents to now country and western superstars, which I know hurt their heart when they gave that girl that acknowledgement. I have just always believed and I've been active since I was 13, that we can make a difference. And we just have to go out
Yeah.
and do it.
But listen, Rashid,
That's where I've been.
here's what we need to continue to do. We need to highlight the story of people who have made it and are making it in spite of the odds.
Mhm.
Oh, that's true. And we need to do that ourselves.
Yes, sir.
I told you
Okay, we
that
got
the
so
first
much-
time I heard Black history was in a house. It wasn't in school, you know, and that's what we have to do. I did all I could with my children to teach them the majesty
I know that's right.
and the glory of our people.
Whatever way you had to tell it. I'm listening
Yeah.
to a Mom Mabley album.
Yeah.
Mom
Yeah.
Mabley and some of them folk by the day standards were pretty clean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
About all
Mhm.
and everything. And Mom Mabel was telling a joke where she said she walked up to this young fella and she his hair wasn't all like it needed to be. She says, "Son, what do you got on your head there?" He says, "Walker, Madam C.J. Walker." Well, Mom said, "Well, look, tell Madam to walk around them edges a little bit there." Well, okay, now that's a nice little joke, and we understand all the stuff we've talked about hair, good hair, bad hair stuff. But hey, somebody might have been prompted to do what? Go read the story of Madam C.J. Walker, the first Black woman millionaire
Millionaire.
in America's
Yeah.
history.
Well, listen, gentlemen, speaking of women, because my woman is waiting for me to take her out to dinner.
Wow.
Okay.
'Cause
No
today is-
problem.
'cause I had to work.
Come on now.
So I'm
Where you going?
we're going to the steakhouse.
Which one?
NYY.
Okay, at the casino.
Oh, that's a good place. I
All
never
right.
got a bad steak out of NYY.
We went to Roof Chris last Thursday night.
Man, I told you I'm never going back there.
Shout out to them, the one in Aventura.
Mhm.
My wife is lactose intolerant. So instead of cream spinach, they bought my wife sauteed spinach.
Oh, was it good?
Instead of cheesecake with the berries and stuff on it, they bought
Yeah.
her a bowl of just berries alone.
Okay.
So when it was time to leave, we had a large party. So I know those servers got blessed. But that lady who took care of my wife and I and the other people at our end of the table, Doc, I slipped some extra in her hands because the
That's how
attention
you do it.
to
Mhm.
detail that they gave, because my wife and I have gone out before to places. We went out to a place. Well, I ain't sure. I don't know if it was Outback or what. I don't want to call nobody's name, but it wasn't even in this city. And man, we specifically asked, "Do you cook the steak in butter?" Yes, we do. Well, look, because my wife said I'm lactose intolerant, do not cook my steak in butter. Brought that steak to the table. You know how it's sizzling, Doc. You ready to go. My wife cut that steak, put it in her mouth, and it went to the top of her chest and right back
Yeah.
out. And we're like, what is this? And the guy come back there, man, and oh. Now, man, why do we take all the time to tell you that my wife is lactose intolerant and you still bring it here,
Well,
cooked in butter?
you know, it's interesting you say that. When I made the reservations, made them online. They actually asked you about food.
Food allergies. Most good restaurants do.
Well,
Yeah.
you know the thing in Pastor Burrell, I ain't allergic to nothing.
Ah, hush your mouth.
Well, you know, Burrell, I told you guys when I went to the Ruth Chris downtown
Mhm.
that food was terrible. That steak was like rubber. And I said at that time, I said, I ain't never going back.
I don't
But
know that.
They tell me,
You talking about the federal? It's on Federal Highway.
Yeah, the one by the Barnes and Noble, right up
Yeah.
the street, and the Dunkin', I mean the Krispy Kreme donuts, J. Alexander's on that same side.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one,
Yeah,
Rashid. That
no,
one?
the one that's down by Los Olas.
I didn't know they had a
There's a
Ruth
roof
Chris
Chris
down
down there.
Here's one down there. That's
Okay.
what I saw all the time.
I'm not trying to put. You must be thinking of Morton.
Morton is down there.
Morton's on La Sopa.
Nah, it was Ruth Chris because we had gotten a coupon from Lexus for it. That's the only reason I went. But in any event, the point is that sometimes we go to places that are good, and you got to ask questions, and then when your food comes before you bite into it, you got to ask questions.
I'm gonna say this. See how we can have conversation about great food and great steaks. That's what that $1.7 trillion is important.
There you go. Now, Rashid, the only Ruth Chris in Fort Lauderdale is the one we are talking about at 2525 North Federal Highway.
So that was the one. It's not too far off.
There's no downtown one.
Okay, well, wherever it was,
wherever
you get more my money.
Well, I got you. I hear you.
That's surprising because it's been a few years since I've been to that Ruth Chris.
Well, it was during the pandemic, so maybe that has something to do about it. But no, I wasn't going back there.
Well,
I like the some of the other places I've been to. Not that I'm eating steak anymore because I've cut red meat loose for a minute, but I love a good steak, Joe.
I had the salmon. Listen, just for information,
I love a good steak.
That steak in Broward County voted, would send your votes in and all that. It's Tropical Acres.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say Tropical. They had a fire a couple years ago, rebuilt. Now
they were voted number one.
I've had some of their steak there. I was actually at an event working, and let me tell you something.
Somebody know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
Somebody know what they're doing.
Where's that at?
It's
on Griffin.
Griffin Road.
One
of them old school.
Yeah, past that.
Old school.
Old school. Matter of fact, even the bus boys by 80 years old. They don't give up them jobs because the tips be good in them spots. Like
yes, yes,
that's the place to go.
Oh yeah, that Tropical Acres is one of the places to go. Pastor Burrell, any closing words before we get up?
Listen, I don't want anybody to think that I'm bitter or whatever, but I've lived in this country all of my life. That's the reason I've had problems with some of my brothers and sisters who come from the Caribbean. And they know more about being black than we do. We've been here all our life and that kind of thing. And because I know what I know, because I've seen what I've seen, you know what I mean? You can't play the movie for me and I not know that I've seen this movie before. And if I call you out for it, I'm like, hey, come on, y'all. Come on now. We can do better than this. And please don't try to cover it up under that fact that and start mentioning Jesus in conjunction with it. Come on now. Amen. So let's continue to work together. Let's continue to give God glory, honor, and praise. And America, live up to the high ideals you espouse in your Declaration of Independence, in your Bill of Rights, in your Constitution. Come on now. Let's flesh it out instead of just being these high-minded tomes. So that's where I am. And I tell you what, when you say that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, and it makes it easier to do that, because of the Holy Spirit that lives on the inside. So praise be to God. Praise be to God. Mm-hmm. Living Waters Christian Fellowship. 4501 North State Road 7 in the beautiful, booming metropolis of Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, on the campus of the Central Charter School, building number 5, 10 o'clock.
There it is.
10 o'clock.
Pastor Rashid, closing words, and where can they get some more of that good word?
Closing thought is whatever you do, do not be discouraged and do not give up. That even with your last breath, I'm thinking about Mother Ward, who some of you may not have heard, but Mother Ward passed yesterday. And I was thinking about how the last time I saw her last Sunday, man, she still was soldiering. You know, she was in good spirits, and she had refused to surrender to the fact of the trachea and dialysis and all that other stuff. Because no matter what the circumstances are, all good things come from God, and
Yes, sir.
God can handle anything. And all that we're afraid of is afraid of God. And we're on Thursday evenings at 7. And we're on Sunday morning at 9, Imani Christian Worship Center. And we're online. And please call in if you just want to listen. We'd love to have you, because the one thing we all need to do is get unified now more than ever before.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Living the Christ Radio Ministries with Pastor Rashid by Ethan Anthony Burrell. And by the way, gentlemen, surprise for you. We were on YouTube tonight.
Amen.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
So
we were saying, my friend Pastor Vaughn has told me that it's easy to do.
so
Very
I
easy to do.
I
so.
got us connected to my YouTube channel. So I'm working on trying to expand it. And by the way, I want to remind everybody, hit that share button. Let this share this on your page. All you gotta do is click that share button. And as you see, we read your comments because your participation is important. Nick Freeman and Kathy Joe and everybody that's watching, hey, we appreciate you. Even those that didn't comment, click on that share button.
Yes, sir.
So share this message with everybody else, because maybe it could change somebody somewhere. And hey, find you a Bible-based church. Find your word church. I promise you,
Come on now.
it'll change your life. It changed my
Come
life.
Change your life. And we
Yes,
do love y'all.
Look how happy I look.
Hey. Hi.
Y'all be blessed.
Listen, stay blessed. We'll see you guys right here next time. Living in Christ Radio Ministry with Pastor Rashid by Ethan Anthony Burrell. See ya.